In this video, we're going to look at how to do the star stitch. You can see the star stitch here, running across, and this is part of our star stitch washcloth. Now our pattern tells us that we are gonna chain 51. I'm gonna show you on a slightly fewer number of stitches, but the process is still the same. So our instructions tell us to work into the second chain. So we're gonna skip this one and work into this one. We're gonna pull up a loop. And we're gonna do that in our third chain, so the next one, the fourth, the fifth, and the sixth. So that now there should be 6 loops on our hook. We're gonna yarn over and we're gonna pull a loop through all of these stitches, which should sort of curl them in. And then we are going to chain 1. So that finishes off this stitch and it creates that eye right there. Okay, so let's do it again. We're gonna work our star stitch. So that means we're gonna insert our hook into the eye of that stitch and pull up a loop. We're going to insert our hook into the last 2. So here's a spike and here's a spike. So we're gonna insert our hook through there, pull up a loop. Then we're gonna insert our hook into the same chain where we last worked, which would be right here. And then we are going to insert our hook into the next stitch. So it would be this one right here. And then one more. So into those chains until we have 6 loops on our hook. Again, we're gonna pull a loop through all 6. This can be a tricky part, or you wanna make sure that you're getting that easily through all of there. There you go, not snagging it. And chain 1. Let's do it again. We are going to insert our hook into that eye right here that we made. Pull up a loop. We will insert our hook into the space between these 2 spikes. Pull up a loop into the same space, that same chain that we worked before. And then into the next 2 chains. So 1 and 2. And we will pull a new loop through all 6 of those. Chain 1. Do it again. Insert through the eye, insert between that spike into the same chain we worked previously and into the next 2. And we'll pull a loop through and chain 1. Okay, I'm gonna work my way down to the end and then we'll look at what happens in at the very end and at our next row. Okay, so I have my very last chain and I'm going to do a half double crochet into that last chain. Okay, so there we have all of our little stars. And we're going to chain 2 and turn. And we're gonna work 2 half doubles in each of the eyes across. So on the back side, you can kind of see them. It's right there, right where all those loops form. So we're gonna do 2 half doubles into each eye. across. Just going into that same place for each of the two. Okay. So there is our, let's see, that's our last eye right there. So we'll do 2 in that. And then we're gonna do 2 half double crochets in the last stitch, which would be right there. Okay, so we can see what that looks like now. Row 3, chain 3 and turn. We are going to insert the hook into the second chain. So that's 1, that's 2. And we're gonna pull up a loop. And we're gonna repeat in the next chain. So in there, pull up a loop. We've got 3, and then we're going to pull up through the next 3 stitches. So 1, 2, and 3. So this time we're working in stitches and not like we did on the bottom in the chains all the time. So we're going to pull a new loop through all those, chain 1, and then it's really the same. So we're gonna work through the star, or through the eye. We'll work through that, the space between those 2 spikes in the same stitch, and in 1 and 2, pulling the eye, or pulling the loop to create the new eye. So you will work that all the way down, working a half double crochet again in the last stitch, and then you're gonna half double crochet back. So that is how you do the star stitch.